Hello again. I'm Bill Wagner, and I'm interviewing candidates that are running for the .NET Foundation Board, the 2022 elections. I'm here with Jeff Chilberto. Jeff, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Great. Hi. My name's Jeff Chilberto. I'm calling from Auckland, New Zealand. I originally am from California and just been traveling a bit about. I've been in New Zealand since 2006. My background is as a software developer. I'm currently an architect, and yeah, it's great to be here.
All right. So, the two main questions we're going to start with. So, if you do get on the board in this election and have a 2-year term, what do you want to accomplish? What do you think the foundation needs to do over the next 2 years?
Well, really, I mean, I think the foundation is already doing a good job. So as far as going in and shaking the tree and making major changes, that's not what I would really be doing. The first thing though is to get in and to evaluate, understand. But having said that, I think right now where we are in, especially after the last couple of years, we've really seen a transition from um, a lot of individuals now are working from home, or doing a hybrid lifestyle. So I think the .NET Foundation really has an even more important role to play. So as far as fostering open source projects, we see even more adoption of open source projects. Many enterprises are using open source projects where 10 years ago we didn't see it as much. So fostering that, providing those services that allow the open source projects to foster, to develop and to be able to concentrate on the goodness of the open source project as opposed to licensing and the other distractions. That's an area that I would like to invest in and make sure that that process is as seamless and painless as possible for those individuals on it. The other aspect of it, of course, is the open source community. And one of the challenges that we have now with so many people working remotely is that feeling of isolation, and that's really where I see the foundation um, contributing to the almost a well-being of a lot of the people in the community. Because one of the things, of course, about working from home is the isolation you feel, and that's what's great about these user groups and the different meetups that we see, that it brings people together. It gives people opportunity to speak, present ideas, share knowledge, and also just to be in a virtual room or physical room with people that share similar interests. So I see both of those, obviously the core of .NET Foundation as being critical, and like I said, Foundation has been doing a great job, and so I'd like to see that develop and build.
Okay. And interesting thing, you mentioned the meetups and virtual user groups and so on. Do you think there's a place, if we think about, if we can't be in the same physical room, where user groups can have a wider geographic audience, kind of mix being in the same room? How do you think that can foster community, or any ideas there?
Definitely, and that's probably that would be a focus area to try to make it more of a global .NET community. I mean, I see lots of great work out there, but I'm at the moment I'm discovering it. I'm going and I'm finding it. I'm going to our the foundation's meetup log and seeing all the different recordings, which is great. But I want those coming to me as opposed to
Mhm.
me seeking them out. And so looking at ways that we can improve the communication would be important, because that, again, as you brought up, building that global community is would be sort of like the next step. Feeling that we're connected, feeling that yes, there's no reason why I couldn't attend a user group in Belgium or Canada or
Mhm.
wherever. So yes, definitely that sense of a global community. And I see it now with a lot of the colleagues that I'm interacting on a day-to-day basis, they're spread around the globe, and it's great.
Mhm.
It's wonderful having that diverse collection of thought leaders, and yeah, being able to learn from people and share ideas. And the other thing that's probably uh, uh, important about that is that reassurance that the struggles that I'm having here in New Zealand are the same ones that they're having over in California or New York or where have you. So that's as a developer, that's a good feeling that
Mhm.
I'm not alone.
And it's interesting, especially you being in New Zealand. I think sun's coming up there, and or will be coming up there soon, and it's starting to go down here on the east coast of the U.S. How do you see that play in with a global community in terms of you know humans usually sleep in the dark?
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
and that is where it's hard. That is where it's hard, and so that's where building up that recording as the foundation's doing is one way to help tackle that. But yeah, that is a challenge, and unfortunately, it's a physical one. So as far as having live meetups, yeah, it's so hard to find
Mhm.
the right time in the day. Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe along those lines, the preparation towards an event would be key to that. Being able
Mhm.
to either record the questions ahead of time and or somehow promoting the material
Mhm.
early so that those that are in the 4 a.m. or the 3 a.m. Um, you know time zone, that they're able to participate in their own way.
Mhm. Okay. That I like that idea. That's an interesting idea that you can help champion. So I get and now, kind of moving into our next question, what experience and skills do you bring to hope to be able to accomplish those goals over the next 2 years?
Yeah. So one of the interesting things about the board is that uh, uh, it it's unusual in its makeup, in the sense that it's actually it's board of directors. It's providing guidance and leadership, but it's actually running the board. So that makes it unusual compared to other
Mhm,
nonprofits, and that actually suits me well, because my roles are hands-on architect or hands-on
mhm,
developer, and so the concept of actually being a strategist and a thought leader, uh, and actually contributing
mhm,
is natural. And so as far as my background goes, that would be the contribution. Of course, my where I am in my career, having been developing since the early 90s, and working in .NET since 2002. um, there's there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of different industries that I've been involved in. From I've primarily been a generalist, so I've been
mhm,
in education. I've been in financial software, um, uh, pharmaceutical software, healthcare, and coincidentally, game development also. So it's quite a broad palette, so to speak, and having that diverse background would help me in being able to evaluate and being able to support these different projects that we would see coming through. So really, as far as that goes, my background would be the key part there. Probably um, one trait that I think has really helped me in my career is my ability to establish new relationships and build existing relationships. That would probably be one of the biggest assets I could bring, as far as being able to you know uh, um, not just the large corporates, and getting their support for the foundation, but also making connections out to many of the other organizations that might not know how to support the .NET Foundation. But I would imagine uh, um, getting different, even small, maybe small game studios,
mhm,
um, Obviously we're making the connection out to the user groups, but also connections out to different education um, providers would be a great way to start, building up the foundation and building up the support and the visibility uh, of the .NET Foundation.
Okay. I like that. That's a good vision for what the community can be, with all those different audience types, archetypes, if you will, of who's involved. Do you think what do you think are like the common themes among those different audiences, or the what's totally different between, like, say, the financial institution and a game studio?
Yeah, and that's what I think is actually interesting is that of course, you always have your different personalities and you have your different ways of doing things, but one of the beauties of the language that we're working in is that it there is a lot of commonality,
Mhm,
going from the maybe of course there's going to be differences, like the banking's going to have really high regulations, it's going to have a different focus, the amount of risk it's willing to take is going to be a lot different than a game studio who wants to really um, challenge and be a spark and ignite passion, and you have to take risk if you're wanting to do that. So
mhm,
so those fundamental drivers are different, but at its core, .NET it's fabulous. Take I can take my technical skills from one to the other and apply it. A lot of the concerns in building up, especially in back end services, are the same. Sometimes I can forget which one I'm I'm dealing with because they're both using event-driven architecture. They're both using a lot of the familiar services that we would have
mhm,
in Azure. So going back to your original question, I think there's a lot of commonality. I think when you boil down to the individual, they have a lot of the same needs. For the consumer of an open source project, they want something reliable, something that they know is going to be there tomorrow, that it has a community behind it, that people are active, uh, um, and most important, that the baton's going to be passed if that if those key
mhm,
individuals leave, you're going to get that continuity. So um, making that visible, showing that history would be, an important thing of the .NET Foundation, and we have it to a degree with GitHub and things, but it'd be interesting to explore the concept of how do we, um, by making it more visible, by making it more clear that these projects are stable and that they have
mhm,
a solid foundations, that that would inspire more people to invest in them, which is the snowball
mhm,
effect of just
mhm.
building and keeping these great projects living and moving forward.
Awesome. Those were the main questions I wanted to cover. Is there anything you want to add right now?
Not particular. I guess the only thing, I mean, from a personal point of view, this would be a great opportunity for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. I am, like many of the individuals that we see running for the board and are on the board. I'm I'm at that point in my career where I do want to find ways of giving back to the community, and you know, uh, I've I've written a couple books. I do presentations. I blog.
Mhm,
Um, Being on the foundation would be a great way for me to feel it. To be engaged, to be part of that global community, and yeah, I really love the opportunity. So
okay.
please vote for me.
As as with everyone, I'm going to wish you good luck.
Thank you.
I think we've got a lot of great candidates. Once again, Jeff Chilberto, running for the .NET Foundation Board in our 2022 elections. And I want to thank you for your time, and I want to wish everyone well in the election.
Great. Thank you.